Hey guys, not sure if anyone's jumping on just yet, so I'll just give it a few seconds or give it a minute and see who joins in. All right, I hope you've all had. Hey Jess, nice to see you. I think you're the first person I can see that's on here. Benny, Amy, nice to have you. Welcome to my spare room. As you can see, I've got some books and some other things behind me. My cello, which sadly doesn't get used that much. Roberta, hey, how are you? So nice to see everyone joining in. I thought, I don't know how many people are watching just yet. Monique came on, how are you? Nice to have you. I thought I would take a leaf out of Amy's book tonight and do a bit of a game, just to give people a bit more time to jump on. There's no prizes. It's not going to be a trivia like Amy did. More of just like a this or that sort of game. So I'm going to give you two options or two sort of questions. Not really questions, just two options. So if you just comment what your answer is, it might do a little. Yeah, it might be interesting to let everyone know what your answer is. So, first one I'm going to ask is beach holiday or a country holiday? I'm glad you're going well, Roberta. Okay, I don't know if anyone's participating in this game, but that's all right. Hey, Kathy, hello, Connect Group. Nice to see you all. Not sure who's there. Beach. Oh my gosh, all the answers are coming in quickly. Beach. Megan says country. Ben's beach. Mon's country. Simon says beach. Beach. Dan Russell, good answer. My answer is beach, personally, just because I think that's a nice break. We practically live in the country in the mountains anyway. So, all right, next question: Europe or America? My answer is America. I've wanted to go do a travel through the States ever since I can remember, probably because I grew up watching a lot of American sitcoms. All right, the next question. It's taking ages to get the comments. USA, Benny, Europe, America, Europe. Good choice. It's pretty evenly split. All right, the next question might be a little controversial. Scrunch or fold? Simon Noble, USA, but not for a while. That's probably smart. That's definitely probably a smart idea. Kathy says Europe. It looks like it's pretty evenly split. The next question is scrunch or fold. I am a massive, massive, massive scruncher. Fold. No! That is the wrong answer, Simon. Both. Megan, that makes no sense. Where's the consistency? Scrunch. Dan Russell is on my side. So far, he's the only one. Fold. Oh my gosh. Guys. Okay, that's all right. I thought that might be controversial, but apparently I'm doing it wrong. Kathy, finally, thank you. That's a good answer. All right. I might just do like one or two more. So sleep in or get up early. Troy Hovenden, scrunch. Kathy, scrunch. Great answers, guys. So the next one is sleep in or early riser. I would love to sleep in, and I used to sleep in till 9 or 10 o'clock on Saturdays. But ever since I married Tim, as soon as he's awake at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock on a weekend, he just jumps out of bed straight away. So I never have any chance to actually sleep in, which is a bit sad. It'll probably be preparing me for kids though, so it's probably a good thing. Early, get up early. Benny, sleep in. Very good. Sleep in. Felicity says sleep in. Kathy says sleep in. Definitely, I agree. Roberta, sleep in. Kathy, that doesn't surprise me that you get up early. I feel like you're a very active person. You're probably already out walking and swimming by 7 o'clock. Mostly up before 2 to 3 a.m. That's weird. Why do you get up that early, Simon? That's very early. All right. Last one. Ben Sattler or Tim Campbell? I'm just kidding. Don't answer that question. We don't want to start a controversy in church. I imagine that Amy will probably say Ben and Ali will say Tim, though. If the sun's out before you're wasting the day. Oh, Troy, no. Not always. Work. Okay. That makes sense, Simon. You've got to get up early for work. That is very early, though. All right. Well, I might jump into it. So what I wanted to share tonight is just based off the story of Joseph. I'm finally getting the answers to my Tim and Ben question. Roberta's the only one that's been game so far to answer. That's good. Anyway, maybe we'll keep those answers to yourselves, or you can tell them in private on Sunday when we see you at church. So what I wanted to share tonight was on the story of Joseph. So the story of Joseph is one of my favorite stories. I don't know why, possibly because it has a very sort of magical Disney sort of like element to it. It's just the most bizarre and ridiculous things happen, and I feel like it would make a really awesome Disney movie. But it's a bit of a long story, so it covers all the chapters from Genesis 37 all the way to 45. So it covers about 8 chapters in total. So it's quite lengthy. Basically, Joseph was the son of one of Jacob's 12 sons, and he was one of the younger ones that Jacob had later on in life. So Jacob was showed a bit of favoritism towards Joseph, and as most people probably know, gave him this beautiful, colourful tunic or coat, and tended to show him a bit of favoritism, which the rest of Joseph's brothers were very, very envious of. Joseph was also very gifted in interpreting dreams, so that was something that God helped him do. But it was definitely something that God gifted him with, and Joseph basically had a couple of dreams that symbolized him having sort of dominance or power over his brothers and his family, and that they would one day be coming to bow down to him. And needless to say, Joseph's brothers didn't really appreciate that, and they were very envious. So one day they did sort of conspire to kill him, but instead of killing him, they ended up just throwing them in this ditch, and sold him to some Ishmaelite traders that were coming by on their way to Egypt. So they basically sold their brother just because they were so envious of him, and they were jealous of the favoritism that Jacob showed him and the sort of the blessing he got. Hello, everyone who's still joining in. Nice to see you all. Once Joseph was sold to the Ishmaelites, they basically went over into Egypt and ended up selling him to a man by the name of Potiphar, who was basically a high up officer to Pharaoh. So he was a very sort of well esteemed man. And Potiphar developed quite a great sense of trust with Joseph quite quickly. And it says in the passages that because he could see that God was with Joseph. So basically, Joseph became his overseer of his house. So Joseph was in charge of everything and basically ran the place on behalf of Potiphar. Most people probably know this story pretty well. Let's do a Joseph production with you in a Disney style. That would be fun, Felicity. That would be very fun. I'd love to do that. Basically, when Potiphar's wife tends to get a bit of a liking towards Joseph and tries to seduce him on a couple of occasions, which Joseph declines, and eventually he runs away from one of her advances, and she accuses Joseph of trying to sleep with her. And because of that, she notifies Potiphar, and Potiphar sends him into prison. While Joseph's in prison as well, he's there with a butler and a baker who used to work for the Pharaoh, who also have a couple of dreams that they don't understand the meaning of. So Joseph basically says to them, "Tell me your dreams, and God will help me interpret them for them." And he does that. And most people know the story. Like I said, the baker, unfortunately, within 3 days is hanged to death. And the butler is restored to his former position. After that, though, Joseph spends another 2 years in prison, waiting for him to get out, until one day Pharaoh himself has a dream that he's quite troubled with, about the 7 years of plenty and then the 7 years of famine. And the butler finally remembers Joseph and how he interpreted his dream, and tells Pharaoh Joseph's gifting in interpreting dreams, and he's basically summoned to go and interpret Pharaoh's dream for him. And because he advises him of the 7 years of plenty and then the 7 years of famine. And much like Potiphar, Pharaoh develops quite a strong trust with Joseph, and Joseph basically becomes Pharaoh's 2IC. So Joseph went from prisoner to essentially royalty, basically because he trusted God and continued using his gifts. So that's sort of a rough recap of the story. So basically, I had two sort of thoughts that I wanted to share based off this story. And the first one of that is that Joseph continued to use his God-given gift even in the most hopeless situations. So when Joseph was in prison, because him using his gift is what landed him there in the first place because of his brothers, he could have easily shut his mouth and stopped using his gift based on what happened the first time, or he could have been resentful to God for allowing that to happen to him, and vow to never use that gift of interpreting dreams again and to not trust God, basically. But even in prison and in chains, he continued to trust God and continued to use his gift to interpret the dreams of the butler and the baker. And that ultimately, even though it was 2 years down the track, that ultimately led to his freedom as well, because he kept on using his God-given gifts and kept that faith and kept that trust. And sometimes I feel like we can have a gift, or we feel like we have a calling or a passion for something, and it doesn't work out the way we want it to, or it falls flat and it doesn't go anywhere, or we get disappointed by it. It can be easy to just forget about it and dismiss it and lose hope in it. But we need to remember that God's given us that gift or skill or calling for a reason, and that reason is probably more than likely to benefit others and to give glory to God. Those are the two sort of main things that will come out of those gifts that we use that God's given us. And for me, I think definitely I've been given a gift of singing and of music, and what sort of followed on from that is worship leading, which I love to do as well. And jumping back to last year when my mum passed away, I could have very easily have just sort of given up on that gift and stopped singing and just sort of, vowed silence because of a disappointing situation and sort of a tough situation to be going through. But for me, that was the easiest way to continue singing and to continue worship leading, was how I was able to give glory to God, even if I didn't feel like doing that through words or my actions. So that's sort of the first point, the fact that Joseph continued to use his God-given gift even in the most helpless situation and even in the darkest time. The second point, or the second thought that I took from that I take from this story, is that God is capable of bringing the most ridiculous or impossible or unrealistic outcome to fruition and to reality. So I have this little necklace that was my mum's. I don't know if you can really see it. It's a kind of a little corked little glass tube thing. On the necklace though, within the cork, it's got Ephesians 3:20 written on it. So which says, "Now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we can ask or all we can imagine." So my mum was given this about halfway through her chemo treatments by one of her best friends, just as sort of a little token of encouragement. What that's got to do with the story is that, like I said before, God took Joseph from being a prisoner to essentially being royalty. And even though Joseph had dreamt about being in a position of power, or had envisioned that one day people would be bowing down to him, I bet him being second in charge to the Pharaoh was not at all where he imagined or knew that God would take him. But God did take him there because he remained faithful in his gift, and he trusted that God was bigger than what he thought he was. So I guess what I just want to encourage you is to don't ever underestimate what God is capable of, because he is capable of doing the absolute unimaginable that will likely exceed even our biggest expectations. And just like Joseph, he can take us from darkness into glory, and we just need to be patient and keep our trust with him. So let's keep using our God-given gifts, so that God can bring the fruit from that. And let's not forget how just huge our God is, and the fact that he can just bring across the most unexpected or unrealistic situations to life. But let's remember that he probably can only do that if we do our part and we continue to put our faith and continue to put our trust in him, and continue to use those gifts to ultimately bring glory to him. So those are just my thoughts for tonight. I hope that's been encouraging even to just one person. That would be really awesome. So I hope you've gotten something out of that. I love that story. It's pretty long, but you should go back and have a read of it yourself, and hopefully one day they will make a Disney film out of it. But yeah, that's mostly it from me, guys. Hopefully we'll see you at one of our City Church in-person Sunday services this Sunday, so either 9 a.m. or 10:30 a.m. If you haven't registered, make sure you jump online to citychurchau.com and you register for one of those services. And yeah, we can't wait to see you there. Hope you all have a great week, and we'll see you on Sunday.